Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. You're welcome to the JMA Connection. Today is the 23rd of November 2025, and Friday came and went. Unfortunately, I was a bit committed. We were not able to settle together here yesterday to look at, a rundown of the things that happened on Friday with our neighbors, the Republic of Cameroon. And so I took time off to, reach out to people in the major cities of the Republic of Cameroon to take a very, detailed temperature of what happened on Friday, of the level of support that Cameroon's president-elect Issa Chiroma Bakari actually did enjoy. I looked at a couple of analyses here and there that literally like tried to claim that, oh, it was a dismal failure. It really wasn't a big success because in Douala it was respected only at about between 60 and 80%. They said in Garwa it was close to 90%. In Marwa it was just over 60%. In Ngaoundere there was considerable support, but bike riders reduce the support or observance of the lockdown to about 55%. And then over in Bafusam they said, well, it was some kind of checkered success. Don't forget Atanga Ponji was in Bafusam that day, did his utmost best to mobilize the poor bike riders so they could go out there and dole out some small money to them and make them start singing against their own future, against their own destiny. And so of course the most remarkable thing was that over in the southern Cameroons, naturally as expected, everything was normal because that contrast really always has to be there. And so I want to take this opportunity to congratulate our people of the southern Cameroons, because while we are showing support for the actions that are being carried out by Issa Chiroma Bakari to effect change in the Republic of Cameroon, at the same time we are maintaining focus on pushing right ahead, right through with the liberation of the southern Cameroons. And so, going back therefore to what happened in the Republic of Cameroon that Friday, I should say generally it wouldn't be one, for me, from my perspective, it wouldn't be one of outright disappointment. For people who have generally demonstrated their unwillingness to stand up for what they believe in, for people who have generally demonstrated serious passiveness in situations where you expected them to stand up and be very strong and to act, for people who don't know the meaning of resistance, I would generally, rather than giving them, than saying that it was a dismal failure, I would say I would likely give them a pass. It may not be a very strong pass, but I will give them a pass. And I'll say this: all what is needed from the leadership is consistency. Because today is Sunday, right up to this hour, which is about 8:30 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Issa Chiroma Bakari's team is yet to give guidelines as to what happens next. And this is exactly what I have spoken about before. People need to see in advance, clearly, this is the roadmap we are following. When you do phase one, you do phase two, you do phase three. The gap between phase two and phase three is big. Then after that, the gap between phase three and phase four is shouting. Perhaps the gap between phase four and phase five is too long. The people are constantly getting demobilized. And when people get demobilized, to hit them back up becomes very difficult, becomes very complicated. I know that Issa Chiroma Bakari and those surrounding him should be facing a lot of challenges with all the options that they have before them on the table. But one thing is certain: to keep the resistance alive, there has to be consistency in the elaboration of a strategy. The people should know what to expect next. There should be some degree of predictability, because if between phase one and phase two you shred 1% of the following, between phase two and phase three you shred 3% of the following, between phase three and phase four You shred 5% of the following. Trust me, by the time you get to phase 6, you may necessarily or you are likely going to be dealing here with, far more dwindling fortunes as far as this whole issue of resistance is concerned. And I want to be very clear, there has never been any time more propitious for this resistance to happen in the Republic of Cameroon than now. Because right now, they still have the chance to alter things with Biya present. Because Biya's presence means that the people surrounding him are still divided. They are fighting against each other. They are tearing each other. So they are at their lowest ebb. If you allow the situation to get right to the point where there's a successful transition from Biya to someone else, younger, stronger, who could federate the people around him, this very horrible system will have the chance of survival for another at least 50 or more years. This is this is the real danger before not only Issa Tchiroma, but before the people of Cameroon. For those who are already going on social media now, just throwing tantrums, trying to mock at the extent of the success of initiatives taken by Issa Tchiroma Bakari here and there, remind yourselves, especially the younger people, remind yourself that even Issa Tchiroma Bakari has his future behind him, not ahead of him. This is what you need to know. And if he has offered at this point in time that he will fight it all the way to the end, and is enlisting people like Alice Nkom, who also has a future behind her, the most important thing the younger generation have to do is take advantage of these people who are ready to put their experience, age, and expertise at the service of the change they need and the change they deserve. But if you sit there and you are thinking or saying, oh, I thought that Issa Tchiroma Bakari was going to come with a magic wand and all of those things. Yeah, let's be clear. We had listened to Abubakar Usman May over and over on, television panels, talk with all assurance and, some degree of firmness, make a noise like le Nord va jouer sa partition. Oui, the Nord is ready. If Pobia doesn't go on retirement, they'll force him to go on retirement. Abubakar Osman May was very emphatic and even said everything was set. All the options were on the table. They're only waiting for the time to activate le nucléaire. But he was picked so easily, dumped in jail, and was there for over a month. I understand he was released, I think, 2 days ago. Now, what were the conditions of the release of Abubakar Usman May? Is it the same Abubakar that was threatening, that was talking with all the verve, with all the strength, with everything? What agreement do they have with him now? Is he coming back now to be used to water down all the things he had been saying to become very adversarial? This is something that resistance has to know. That resistance, the people have to settle down, look at their strategy, and then convince themselves about one thing. When I say convince themselves, they must tell themselves one thing. Issa Tchiroma Bakari was not prepared for what could come after the elections. If no one really wants to absorb this truth, then you are dishonest. Because when Issa Tchiroma Bakari resigned as minister in Paul Biya's government to go into the opposition, he never really had a base, a solid political base. He knew he had his FSNC lodged in the northern region and with some pockets of support in the Adamawa and the far north. Of course, he really did not boast of any serious support down south. By the time Maurice Kamto's candidature is completely rejected and pushed, relegated, in the mind of Issa Tchiroma Bakari, might have thought that if I go in, this moment is propitious. He could build alliances with those who are very strong, and then that coalition could end up winning. And if that coalition won, it would guarantee him the opportunity to play a major role in a new government or in the third Republic of Cameroon. But when the tides changed, things went the other way. And Issa Tchiroma Bakari ends up being the standard bearer. The standard bearer of the hopes for the transformation into a third republic. This is like that kind of blessing that you are praying to God for. Hey, seriously, God bless me, God bless me. And unfortunately, the heavens open. God pushes a window and let all the blessings contained in that particular apartment pour on you. If you're not ready, they could sink you. If you're not ready to make use of those blessings will rather become your undoing. So this blessing, this grace that Issa Tchiroma Bakari gets with the people becomes so overwhelming, and Issa Tchiroma Bakari, to all intents, had not planned the after-election period. So somewhere along the line, you would think that, oh, this man could have been so naive to imagine that he will win at the polls and Paul Biya will accept that he had been defeated and hand over. And so, it is at this time that Issa Tchiroma Bakari is examining various strategic approaches and with his team deciding, okay, this one goes now, that one comes after, this one could be this, and all of that. So it is important for the public, important for all the activists, important for those who want change to understand the need, therefore, to not laugh at him, not mock at him, not try rather to cast aspersions, but to continue to understand the current situation and work towards pushing it and work towards making it succeed. If you thought that it is a magic one, you are mistaken. I've seen some people come on social media and say, who told Issa Tchiroma Bakari that he was just going to go win at the polls and then they hand it over to him? Some are even saying that he should know that there will be no serious change and all that, and they don't think that the streets can benefit anything. They don't think that ghost towns can benefit everything. Villemort will not do anything. They thought that he already had what was needed, and by that saying he already had what was needed, they thought that no, he should just move straight with letting the torturing of guns become the order of the day in the towns and cities of Cameroon. They don't ask themselves this fundamental question. Who will carry those guns? Who will fight? Who will do that on the ground? There is no instance where people had just moved straight from the ballot box and then it was, guns stuttering straight in the air. There is always a progression to everything. But I think more importantly, the people seem to be forgetting one interesting thing. That more than the barrel of the gun, people power, when carefully choreographed, can be far more lethal than the barrel of the gun. We saw it in Senegal. Macky Sall and his system were undone, not with the barrel of the gun, but by people power. We saw it in Egypt. Mubarak was not brought down by the barrel of the gun. Tahrir Square was overwhelmed, not with, gunshots here and there, but with people power. Ben Ali in Tunisia, it was not the barrel of the gun, it was people power. So the people of Cameroon need to tell themselves something. If you want to succeed, make your standard bearer successful. Because when you encourage your standard bearer by respecting the guidelines that he gives, by giving a meaning to the calls he makes, then you are set up for success. Otherwise, you get ready not for just 7 more years of Paul Biya. No, you get ready for at least 50 or more years of the Biya system, even in the absence of Biya. Paul Biya will rule you from the grave. Paul Biya will rule you from the grave. This will never end. Don't tell us that you are postponing it now to go and do it another time. By that other time, they will come up with strategies again to grind you. That 2,000 francs that they give you a bike rider to put fuel, how much will you use that 2,000 francs of fuel to work with? When a Tanga Ponji comes to do that, he did that in Gaundere, he did that in Garua, he did that in Marwa. And then you are there excited. Does that 2,000 amount to that your destiny that a Tanga Ponji and his gang are stealing? Does that 2,000 francs amount to the future of your children that they are mortgaging? You could see from the letter or from the correspondence by the Minister of Finance to the coordinator of the National Road Maintenance Fund or of the Road Fund, saying they are going to divert all the money that is meant for road maintenance to paying salary and servicing external debt. Why? Because the government treasury is broke. That tells you that if you follow the guidelines being given to you very clearly and practice the kind of economic blockade they want you to practice, forget about the nonsense that others are telling you. It will become difficult for the DIA system to operate. When that happens and the world is seeing even those loans that he's getting very easily, the people giving him money will soon understand that they are not guaranteed payback. Those are the things that need to come to people's minds. So you're evaluating Friday, this is a prism from which you should look at Friday. I just hope that Issa Tchiroma Bakari and his team will not wait another 48 hours before rolling out the next phase of his resistance strategy. I'll be back here later today with a news talk, and henceforth on Sundays we will have on this platform a news talk. That news talk will be an opportunity for us to pick one important happening in our midst, in our community, and give it a salient look. Because at the core of this all, we need to be having a great understanding of the phenomena happening around us. What we need to overcome this kind of system that you are seeing, be it in the southern Cameroons or in the Republic of Cameroon, is education, is sensitization, is mobilization. And we must be all involved. Which means when you hear, make sure the next person hears. When you know, make sure your neighbors know. When you are aware, make sure that this awareness is shared. This is how we succeed in getting everybody on board the same ship. If not everybody, at least a greater majority of the people on board the same ship, the ship of change. And that way, we are guaranteed that this ship will sail to excellent shores. I'll be meeting you in the course of the day, therefore, for the first rendition of this news talk. Look forward to it and make sure that you are connected. Folks, if you are not yet subscribed to this platform, to this channel, the JMA Connection, go right ahead and hit on the subscribe button and personalize so that anytime there is something new here, you will be the first to know. But most importantly, share the link to friends, family, and other acquaintances as much as possible. Let's continue to reach out. To God be the glory.